afternoon. My name is Carter Lenz, and I watched the documentary The Working Poor, The Price of the American Dream. That one was on YouTube. Starting off, they were following around this lady named Germania. She had been working up in the north of Florida someplace. Had a nice stable job. She had 3 kids and a father of the kids. Well, they got into the predicament. They split up. She wanted a fresh start. So she moved down to Orlando, Florida, right off of the main road of where there's Disney World and a very big tourist attraction. So she was going to do whatever it took to get those kids back into a good spot. She wanted a fresh start. So she goes and starts picking up shifts at fast food, such as McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, working 70 hours a week at minimum wage. And she knew she was going to have to do that. So she's earning about $8 an hour, and she's hopping from motel to motel. Actually, the father of her children, his mother, came down and was living with her, taking care of the kids, which I thought was incredibly nice. And she only had a couple hours a day to see her kids. She would go work shift and then get a couple break, maybe work from 6 in the morning till about 4 or 5 p.m. Rolls around with the kids go to bed, and then she takes off and goes and works the night shift. And she's not getting anywhere. She said that she's got $8 to her name. She got a pizza for the kids because that's what they wanted. Well, she's working her butt off, busting her butt, getting minimum wage, not getting anywhere. And one of the things that, you can get benefits. So she wanted to work her way up. Well, it takes months and months to maybe get a 10-cent raise. They had interviewed her boss, and her boss said that you get health benefits and stuff like this only if you're full-time. Well, what they were doing were they were cutting hours of people, only making them part-time, so they could never get full-time and never get the benefits. So she'd work there maybe 5-6 hours a day, and that's not full-time, and she would have to go to another job. So all these part-time jobs she's combining into one 20-hour workday, walking, no car, and no place to call home. So staying in a hotel as long as they'll let them before they move to a new hotel. So at the end of it, they actually had showed that she had made it and got a deposit on an apartment and stuff like this. So that turned out to be pretty good, working really, really hard. Then we go take a look at Erie, Pennsylvania, where these people working at General Electric is in the top 10 biggest companies in the world. They have offices and stuff in 140 plus different countries. Anyway, in Erie, they started laying off. They're going to shut down their factory because they were paying these employees too much from their standards, even though they are one of the biggest companies in the world. So they went on and made a factory in Fort Worth, Texas, which is important about Fort Worth, Texas. There's no worker unions allowed there. And in Erie, there are worker unions. They are trade unions. Sorry, I drew a blank. Trade unions. So they're losing their jobs. They're just laying them off because also in Florida, there's no workers union, trade union, but they also can pay the employees half the wage. So when you're in the company, you're like, yeah, okay, well, these guys, we can pay them half and save all this money, make all this money. Well, that's not right. That's not fair. That company has come all the way back in well beyond 50 years of service in Erie, Pennsylvania, and they're going from person to person, giving them their check, giving them 40-hour notice that they are going to have to pack their bags and leave. So the union is fighting back, and being there in a union, they get 70% of their salary for 6 months. But the one guy, Scott, that they're interviewing, he says that his aunt worked her entire career there, and she's like, oh, maybe you should work here. Back when he was in high school, well, he's now been in the field for 13 years and working his way up. He loves his job, he loves the community. Well, now they just completely told him to kick rocks, and they're gone, slowly wiping out the factory, and they're going to be shutting it down. With some statistics, 15 years, 5 million industrial jobs have been eliminated here in the United States. Maybe moving to overseas where it's cheaper. Maybe they're using electronic robots to make it cheaper for them. They don't have to pay the robots. They have to pay for them, but they will pay themselves off, But that's just the thing, because the union can't get a trade union down in Texas. You can pay them cheaper, so they're protected down there. And that's another safety net thing that was in our questions, that there for the workers there is those safety programs for the unions, but some places are not allowed for that. So how are we going to protect the workers anymore? Then there was one more guy in Seattle. His name was Joe, 39 years old. He has family and kids, and 3 kids and a wife, and they are living in an enchelterment camp in tents. He can't get any work. He gets on the bus at 5 in the morning, goes all the way down across town, gets to this place where they offer day work. Well, they're not there. They're not offering work that day. He can't get a job. Well, a month later, they get an opening in a shelter home where then he can take his family there, and it is free living for 6 months. You get 6 months to live for free and then get back up on your feet. Well, that worked out for him a little bit there, but there's over 1 million children that are homeless in the United States. And that problem is progressing, and people are working, but they're just not making as much. It was also in Seattle, which is one of the most wealthiest cities in America. So there's all sorts of problems coming into the employment. Somebody that works countless hours a week still can't get by. There's plenty of opportunity there in Orlando where she was at, and it's super high employment rate, but they're not going to pay you much at all. So the question is, what can we do to reward these people working all this time? Maybe, I don't know, with the fast food, you don't expect to get paid that much, and maybe make it easier for them to climb the ladder with experience and give you incentives. She is well beyond earning incentives, and she should be, but she's not. That's Germania I'm talking about. But what can we do in America I see now, like McDonald's, they're advertising more pay. I think they're up to $14, $15 an hour. They're paying quite a bit, but that's because of this inflation we have. Living is so expensive. This is how much we're gonna pay you. Well, then this is how much it costs to live. So really, you could trim down on all the cost of living and then go back to making $9 an hour. It's the same thing. Maybe 16 is just a little bit more than the 9 was with that economy, but the way the economy is now and how high everything is and expensive everything is, that 14, 15 bucks really ain't gonna get you too far anymore. So I'm going to leave you with the question, what can we do as a country to reward those who work so hard for little pay and working all this overtime? And can we increase benefits? Can we increase these unions, increase these enchelterments? Maybe the enchelterments are they, with the family, maybe they go out and try to find work for them, or have opportunities, put in a good word for somebody else. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. We can get some conversation rolling in the discussion post, and that'll be all for today. Thank you.